again, Accordion Cool Coach Dave. Yes, yes, another week. Wow. Well, that first tune was called Watch What Happens, which I guess is pretty appropriate because you gotta watch and see what happens. I hope it's all good, but anyway, came from it was written by a Frenchman named Michel Legrand, and it came from a movie or a TV show. And it's called The Umbrellas of Cherbourg was the feature. I'm not sure if it was a movie or I'm pretty sure it was a movie. So let's watch what happens. So if you keep watching, you're gonna see what happens. And that was around 1964, I believe. Now our next tune, I'm sure I must have played it before because it's pretty much my favorite tune, and I never heard it until Art Van Dam played it. Remember Art Van Dam? I've mentioned him many times, world's greatest jazz accordion, blah, 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 you know, all that good stuff. And Art recorded something like 40 albums, and he's got this song on several of them, and it's just as good every time you hear it. You know, it's all over YouTube, and I know he used to play this song in all his live shows. So if I got everything punched right, we're going to play All the Things You Are from 1939, Jerome Kern. Things You Are. I apologize for that little glitch there in the middle, hitting the wrong button. You know, we're still in a very uneasy truce with this instrument, so every once in a while it tries to get back at me, and most times it indeed does succeed. Well, this next tune, 1935, came from, I'm not sure what they call it, not a folk opera, but something like that. Anyway, a little show called Porgy and Bess. Now this is one tune that has really survived all the years, and you hear it probably almost as much today as you did in 1935. A little tune called Summertime. Summertime, summertime, yes, and it's finally summertime here in New England. And if you're not sure where we are, you just look at a map of the United States, and way up in the right corner there's a little hook. Well, that's all that little area is New England, and that's kind of where we are. So, well, this next tune was written and played by my favorite big band. Now, the big bands are all great, but I just kind of like this one the best, and it's the Duke Ellington Orchestra. Now, around 1940, Duke hired a fellow named Billy Strayhorn. Billy Strayhorn was a piano player. Wait a minute. Hiring another piano player in the Duke Ellington band is like, back up to Tom Brady. You're not going to play. Well, fortunately, the main reason that Duke hired Billy Strayhorn is that Billy Strayhorn was also a prolific songwriter. So the two of them wrote many songs together. This one they wrote in 1953. It's called Satin Doll. Satin Doll, Billy Strayhorn, and Duke Ellington. Yeah. Well, this next tune, make sure I get 1918. This tune was written. In fact, I've been threatening to do a new album, and this may be one of the tunes on the album. 1918. I don't know. I think it was just a couple of guys, or a guy wrote a tune. I don't think it came from a show or anything. It's called After You've Gone. After You've Gone. So let's see what we can do with this. After You've Gone. Well, we're not quite getting ready to gone yet. In fact, we've actually got a little extra time here today, so I've been trying to think of what tune I should play. So I'm thinking, well, we played for Summertime, so right after Summertime comes, Autumn. So it was a little tune that was like, I believe, around 1944, and it was also a French tune. And so it came to America, and of course they had to write new words and lyrics, because I guess if you translated it literally, it was Dead Trees. So I don't think we wanted a song called Dead Trees. So a little tune called Autumn Leaves, if we can get through this. autumn leaves, but we don't want any autumn leaves, not for a while yet. Okay, well, we're getting down to our last tune. This tune came from, again, I don't know what type of production it was. I think it might have been a movie called Black Orpheus. And the name of this movie is Samba de Orpheus. And, I kind of like this tune, and I play it quite often on my live shows. So I figured, well, let's try it today. Maybe we can get a little guitar sound and everything will work out all right. My fingers will be... Okay, Samba de Orpheus. Samba de Orpheus. Well, you know something? You got a little extra, still got a little extra time. Maybe I'll do one chorus of one of the prettiest songs ever written. We'll slow it down a little bit. A little tune called Misty. Here we go. Misty, written by Errol Garner. Errol Garner, great jazz piano player out of Pittsburgh. Around 1953, 54, and of course in 1958. Johnny Mathis probably had the biggest hit of his career with Misty. When Misty was originally written, there were no words or lyrics. So they wrote some words and lyrics, and Johnny Mathis took advantage of it. And we are now getting down towards the end of our time, and once again, thank you all for listening, and I apologize for this little monsters. A couple little glitches there, but we will have a discussion about that when we get home, that's for sure. And and of course, as usual, thanks to the big guy behind the glass that makes me look good. Now, if you could tell me how to play this thing, Austin, that might help, but that's okay. We'll get it. I thought we had it, but it's getting persnickety. So, thanks all for watching. Coach Dave. We'll see you next time. I don't know, let's take Samba Day with a piano sound. Let's see what it sounds like.